Hello my sweet friends. It feels so good to be back. There is no better way to start the year than by resetting your space. Let's go. Let's talk goals. I actually just tried filming this and I talked for way too long. And so we're back for take 2. I'm gonna try not ramble so much. I just love talking to you guys, but we have a decent amount of goals to talk through, so here are my 2023 goals. Quickly, I want to say, I know that New Year's resolutions and New Year's goals aren't for everyone. Some people don't love them, and if you don't, that's so fine. Feel free to skip this part of the video. I personally love them. I find them really motivating. I find any excuse for a fresh start, whether it's a new year, a new month, a new week, a new day, I really love it. And I find setting goals really motivates me. It doesn't overwhelm me, but if it is something that overwhelms you, don't do it. You don't need to. I feel like for me, 2022 was a very intentionally slow and peaceful and calm year, and the reason why I intentionally had that type of year last year is because every other year before that has just been kind of stressful, chaotic, huge life changes, and I just really wanted a year where there was not some huge life change, and 2022 was the first year where that was possible, and I am so thankful that I was able to have that, and I feel very privileged to be even able to choose that. I just felt so secure and so stable which hasn't been the case for plenty of other years. And I also very intentionally took myself out of my very workaholic hustle grind mindset and placed myself into a very chill, present, mindful, calm mindset. And whilst I'm so thankful for 2022, I feel like by the end of last year, I started to kind of get that spark back of being really excited to work hard and kind of, I don't want to use the word hustle because it has so many negative connotations to it, but healthy hustling. I just feel really alive again and really just ready to really just work, to really challenge myself and grow and just flourish, you know? And so I'm gonna try and take my work, grind Rachel and my calm, slow, restful Rach, and I'm gonna try and merge them into a new version of myself where I work hard, but I also rest and take time off. And that's kind of the main goal. That's the main goal for 2023. Try and find some sort of work-life balance. But more specifically, let's talk through some goals. Maybe we'll start off with health. These sound so generic, but they're all things that I know will be so helpful to me personally, and also they're all very realistic to me. So the first one is be consistent in the gym. I haven't set a very specific workout 4 times a week for the whole year because I don't know what life is gonna look like in 2 months or in 6 months. I could be sick, I could be injured, I could be traveling. Maybe halfway through the year I'm gonna decide I actually hate going to the gym and I actually want to go to Pilates 3 times a week instead. And if so, no worries. My goal is just to be consistently moving my body and just exercising, looking after myself physically. I also want to go on more walks. Right now, I just hate walks. I find them so boring. I find myself just really struggling to get through them, but I also know that again, just moving my body is so helpful for me physically, mentally, just for everything. And so I do have some plans and some ways that I'm gonna make this, or at least I'm gonna try and make this a more regular part of my routine, but I just want to go on more walks Again, just looking after my body, looking after my home. And lastly, for health, I want to put a focus on meal prepping my lunches, because when I do this, I feel like I'm a better person. It saves me time because I'm not cooking a lunch every single day. It saves me money because I don't have to buy food out. It saves me decision fatigue because I'm not choosing what am I gonna have for lunch today, think about that, cook it, eat it. I'm someone who can eat the same meal days at a time, weeks at a time, probably months at a time before I get sick of it. So meal prepping for me works so well. And I'm always just so grateful to my past self. When it gets to lunchtime, I realize I'm hungry, I check the fridge and there is a meal waiting for me that I can heat up for like 2 minutes and it's done. Like, it is just so great. Let's move on to finance goals. Firstly, Liam and I have a savings goal. We have a savings goal every year and we've always reached it. And I just find it really motivating to have a savings goal to work toward, because it means when I'm out shopping or looking online and I see something that I'm like, oh, I kind of want that. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking of this larger savings goal that I'm so determined to reach, and it's a lot easier to say no to things in the present when you're working towards something bigger for the future, and knowing that you can get there a little bit quicker is so motivating to me personally. So I do this every single year and I love it. I also want to learn more about finance/investing because I literally know nothing. I know nothing about the stock market. I know nothing about investing. I have no desire to learn about it. I have no motivation to learn about it, but I also know that it's so beneficial and so helpful, and it will be very helpful to my future self to learn now. And I've heard so many people say that if you start investing when you're in your 20s or like just as early as possible, it makes a world of a difference once you get to your later years. So my goal is just to start learning about it, start listening to some podcasts, start reading some books. It doesn't have to be huge. I just want this much knowledge about investing and about just like the finance world, just this much, and I'll be happy. And we can just learn a little bit more every year until we are actually knowledgeable. And also probably the most exciting goal that I have in this whole list, but also like the most terrifying one to me, is that Liam and I are going to start the house hunting process. And the reason why I've said start house hunting, not buy a house, is because buying a house, there are so many elements of it that are out of your control. I don't know what sort of houses are going to pop up on the market this year. I don't know if we're going to put 5 offers in and be rejected for all of them, you know? Like, there is so much that is out of my control, but I do know that the things that are in my control are starting this process. There are steps that I can make now that will get us closer to buying a house, or steps that I can make throughout this year that will get us closer to buying our first house. And I just don't want to put pressure or like a time limit on it. So that is why we're going to start the house hunting process, and I will keep you guys updated throughout the year in the vlogs or in future reset videos talking about like where we're at and kind of what's happening with that. But right now there is literally nothing happening apart from me scrolling through realestate.com once a week just being like, oh, that house looks fun, I like that one. As for my career goals, if you don't know, YouTube is my full-time job, so my career goals obviously revolve around this. Firstly, I just want to be consistently uploading twice a week, which I've been doing for quite a while now, and I feel like I'm pretty good at being consistent. It is my job, so you would hope that I am, and consistency is key. I also, this sounds like such a dumb little goal, but I know it's going to be so immensely helpful to my mental health, and that is replying to emails quickly. But this kind of refers to emails, text messages, even just comments or DMs that I get on Instagram or comments on my YouTube videos. I don't know why, but those things overwhelm me tremendously. I wish they didn't, because I love interacting with you guys, I truly do, but I think because every time you go to check your comments, there could be hate, and obviously I have dealt with so much hate over my 8 years on YouTube. It's just scary sometimes, and sometimes I'm just like, I'm not mentally ready to look at these comments today. But I also know that 99% of the time people are saying nice things or good things or helpful things. And same with like emails and text messages. I don't know why they overwhelm me, but I also know that the longer I leave them to reply to, the more they overwhelm me and stress me out. So if I just reply straight away or as soon as I possibly can and just like get into the habit of replying quickly, I will be so thankful to my past self, and I will be so much mentally like lighter because I won't have things looming over me in the back of my mind like, oh, I need to reply to that, I need to respond to that email, whatever it is. So we're gonna work on that this year. I feel like I've been working on this for like 3 years and I've never been able to do it, but 2023 is the year that I will be good at replying. I also want to have a better work schedule / set hours for myself because I'm self-employed. I get to work whenever and wherever I want, which is amazing. I'm so grateful for that. But I also know that I am a person of structure. I am a person who loves being organized, having a routine, having things like set in stone. I know when things are happening. It makes my brain just feel happy. And I have realized that the last couple of years working for myself, I have lost so much of my self-discipline. I have lost so much of my, I want to call it like mental toughness, just being like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it now. Like I have lost so much of that kind of ability that I previously had. And I would have said a couple years ago that my self-discipline was one of my strongest traits and one of the things that I was proudest of in myself. I feel like my self-discipline is literally on the floor right now. I feel like it doesn't exist, and it also manifests in so many different parts of my life, whether that's in the gym or whether that's keeping promises to myself, even if it's like, I'm going to spend 10 minutes journaling today. Doesn't happen. Anything that I do, I just feel like I've lost that really strong sense of self-discipline, and I want it back. So we're gonna work on that this year. We're gonna work on our self-discipline. We're gonna have set work hours so that we work when we work and we rest when we rest, and we're gonna be all around happier, healthier people. Hopefully. And lastly, for my career goals, I want to take off 1 week per quarter. So 1 week every 3 months, I want to take it completely off work, no filming, no editing, no emails. As some of you have noticed, I did take a break from YouTube for the past like month or so, and that is the first break that I have intentionally taken from YouTube in all 8-9 years that I've been doing this. Like I've been sick or I've missed an upload here or there, but I've never like said to myself, I'm gonna take this week off, I'm gonna take this month off. And that's just not healthy for anyone. No matter what job you do, no matter how much you love it, I think for the longest time I told myself that because I was doing my dream job and because I love my job so much, I don't need to take a break, and that's just simply incorrect. So I'm gonna work on taking more consistent time off this year, but just like little breaks, like 1 week every 3 months. That sounds realistic to me. And lastly, we have my personal goals. I do also have some like other goals, some like faith related goals and some other just like more personal goals that I'm not going to be sharing just because they are more personal and I don't need those things on the internet. But some of my personal goals for this year: read 80 books and at least 12 of them be non-fiction. Last year my goal was to read 100 books and I did it, and I'm really proud of myself and I loved every second of it. And honestly, I never felt like I was reading because I had to or because I had to like reach this goal of 100 books. It was really just because I wanted to. But I also recognized that 100 books is still, it's a lot. It's really a lot. And for me, reading is just for fun. And I always want it to be fun. And I feel like creating too big of a reading goal is gonna make it not fun. And so by bringing back my goal down to 80, I know that's still a lot of books, but it's literally like the thing I find the most joy in. I literally am obsessed with reading. So like obviously set a goal that's realistic for you. But I feel like 80 doesn't seem overwhelming to me, but it's still challenging. Like I'm still gonna have to make time for reading, which is really what I want this goal to kind of cultivate, the kind of behavior that I want this goal to cultivate. But again, it's not overwhelming to me. And I don't want reading to be overwhelming to me. I also want to have phone-free Sundays. This was actually a goal that I tried to do last year. I wanted to do social media-free Sundays, and I actually did do it most of the time. Like most Sundays, I did do social media-free, and it was great. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't do it perfectly. And I also just want to try and take it a step further and just do completely phone-free Sundays, or like as much as possible, because, you know, if I'm going for a walk, I still want to take my phone for like safety reasons, that sort of thing. But the days when I do like completely turn my phone off, I find it so calming and so just like refreshing. And one of my other just like big goals that I have for this year is just to spend less time on my phone, and having a phone-free Sunday will really help me do that. So we're gonna work on that. And lastly for personal, and lastly for kind of like this whole like set of goals, is that I want to host more. I realized last year how much joy hosting brings me. Just like having some friends over, whether it's literally just inviting a couple friends over and ordering pizzas from Domino's and watching a movie, or whether it's like planning an elaborate Easter brunch or huge like Christmas lunch or whatever it might be. I love it. I find so much joy in every part of it, in planning it, in making a Pinterest board for it, cooking for it, in having my friends around me enjoying it with me. I literally love it. But it also scares me, and it's something that like I'll have 20 hosting ideas before I even execute one of them, because I just get so scared that no one's gonna wanna come, or people aren't gonna be into it, or I don't really know who to invite. I don't like have people to invite, and I just like don't end up doing it. And I'm like, Rachel, it brings you so much joy, and whether one person comes or 10 people come, it's still the same amount of enjoyment that I get out of it. So why do I not do it more? I don't know. So we're gonna try and do it more this year. So those are all of my goals, and I also wanted to mention some of my words of the year. I do this every year. So one of my goals is self-discipline, which I've kind of already talked about a lot. It's something that I feel like I used to have a lot of, and now that I do not feel like I have a lot of at all, and I really want to work on it. The next one is technically 2 words, but I had this on my vision board last year, and I feel like I cultivated it so well, and I want to do it again this year because it was just like the best thing ever. And that is simple pleasures. So just being intentional about including simple pleasures into my life. Whether that means going and sitting at a cafe by myself and ordering a coffee and reading a book. It costs you like $4 and it is so enjoyable. Or whether it's like taking my book to the park and reading for like an hour or two in the sun. That gives me so much joy and so much life. Whether that means buying myself flowers when I go grocery shopping, going for a walk with Liam at sunset before we cook dinner together. Anything that is small but just fills your cup, that to me is a simple pleasure. I feel like a lot of people have big dreams and big goals and like, I want to travel to Europe and have a European summer, or I want to buy a house or whatever, and I have plenty of those goals too and plenty of those dreams, but there's so much time in between those things. So even if you're spending a month or two in Europe over the summer, that is amazing, but like you're still living your day-to-day now. And so why not make the days right now just as magical as those big, really exciting things as well? And again, they don't have to be big things. You don't have to spend any money. Just finding small parts of your day that you can improve or you can change that will just fill your cup and give you life. I feel like it's just so underrated. And my last word of the year is abide. And this is more of like a faith-related thing, but to me, abide just means being close to God. Abiding in God is like being close to. And that's much more of like a personal experience, I think, but it's a word that I'm going to really try and cultivate this year. And lastly, on this little page where I was kind of like journaling out all these goals and thoughts that I had, I said, I want 2023 to be the year that, and then I had a few dot points that kind of finished that sentence. So the first one I said is, I want 2023 to be the year that I work well when it's time to work, but I also rest well when it's time to rest. Another one that I had is, I want 2023 to be the year that I keep the promises that I make to myself. And lastly, I want 2023 to be the year that I make the people around me feel loved and valued. And those are my 2023 goals, my words for the year, the kind of mentality that I want to have going into this year, all of it. I personally feel like every day is an opportunity for a fresh start, and if there is something that you want to change in your life, you can start working on that today. You can start working on that tomorrow. So why not? I think now we're going to move on to our 2023 vision board or mood board, whatever you want to call it. I feel like everyone does these a little bit differently. I like to do it in a way where I'm just kind of creating a board that gives a visualization of what I want my year to look like, more so than a checklist. For me personally, I don't need to look at this picture at the end of the year and be able to like tick things off, but it's more just like every time I look at it, am I actively trying to cultivate this type of life? And I haven't done this yet, so I'm intrigued to see what it's going to look like. I do this every year, but I always just have so much fun doing this. Hello and welcome to my desk. We're going to make a vision board. I want to make one that I can use as my laptop background because if you guys remember, my last laptop recently died, so I got a new one and I literally haven't even changed the background from this like default one. So I think I'm going to use Canva. I just want to get the right size, so I just literally looked up laptop background 1920 by 1080. And then I'm just gonna go to Pinterest. I freaking love Pinterest. I live on Pinterest. I have this board, which I don't think is private right now. No, it's not secret. So if you guys want to check it out, you totally can. But it's just pictures that I've saved that kind of give the vibe that I want 2023 to give. Obviously, just do whatever the heck you want. I have a lot of quotes on here too. And we're just gonna save a bunch of them and add them to our little Canva presentation. So I'm gonna zoom you guys up and I hope you enjoy. A bunch of Pinterest photos here, so now I'm just going to start adding them to my little this. Okay guys, I just finished making it. I'm gonna set it as my background. Ready? Oh, it's so cute. I love it. What do we think, guys? Do we love? Okay guys, I also just made one for my phone. Ta-da! I've used a bunch of the same images, just obviously rearranged them on a phone screen instead. not gonna lie, I really do not want to go to the gym today, but we're gonna do it anyway. It's leg day, so we're gonna wear some Converse. I'm currently on my period and I do not feel good, but like I've mentioned like 5 times already in this video, I'm trying to work on my self-discipline. In saying that, obviously I'm still gonna listen to my body and like not push myself to an extreme level, but I already didn't go to the gym yesterday because I was like super crampy, just like not doing well yesterday. But I'm not in any pain today. It's more just like I feel kind of gross, like, you know, when just like I just don't feel like I look nice and like, you know, you're just bloated and my skin is not good and I just like don't really have the same energy levels as I usually do. And to me, I just know that today I'm just making excuses. Like yesterday was like a legitimate no, I'm gonna miss the gym. I don't think I would actually physically make it through the session if I tried to do my leg day yesterday. But today we're gonna get it done. I started a new program last week, so this is my 2nd week doing it. My friend Grace is an exercise physiologist and she writes my programs for me. This is the 3rd one that she's written for me, and the goal for this one is to do it for about 8 weeks. So week 2, day 1, let's get it sorted. This is the fit. Like I said, I'm on my period, so we are wearing a huge oversized tee. This tee is my current obsession. It's from Wildflower and it's just like, I literally love it so much. I have basically worn this for a month straight. This is the design. I think it's beautiful and I also love the fit. This is a unisex tee. It sounds like it's an ad. It's not. I'll link Wildflower down below there because I'm literally always wearing their stuff and I'm obsessed with it. And it's just like the perfect fit for what I need for today. Like me doing my squats, I'll be fully covered and that's what I need today. Stacked shorts, Kmart socks for the win, and Converse. Let's get it done. I'm not gonna lie, I quite literally feel like I've just run a marathon. That was awful. It was also just like so frustrating because today was like squats, RDLs, Bulgarians, stuff like that. And I loaded up my squat rack to the weight I did last week and I did a few reps. And my body was like, that is literally not going to happen. Like that is simply not happening today. So a few of the exercises I did today, I was doing 10 kilos lighter than I was last week and it felt 10 times harder. And that's from being a woman and having a menstrual cycle. So I love that. Anyway, I'm proud that I got it done. I'm proud that I like kept going even though it was so discouraging doing such like lighter weights than what I was doing last week. But we got it done. I moved my body. It feels good that I moved my body, but goodness gracious, that was rough. Anyway, I need to have a shower because I am disgusting. I'm so glad that's over. I hope you guys enjoyed this little reset video. I know I already said this, but it feels so good to be back. I also just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has been so patient with me while I took the past like month or so off YouTube. It truly was just so refreshing for me to be able to take a step back, and I'm so thankful for that time. But I missed you guys so much, and I had a bunch of you guys messaging me asking when I was gonna be back and saying you missed me, and that just warmed my heart so much because I think it's very easy for me to forget because I'm just talking to a camera that there's actually people behind the screen watching my content and I don't know, just caring about my life. And so I just want to say that I love you guys so much. You guys have literally changed my life and I'm so thankful for that, and I'm just so glad to be back. I'm so excited for all the content that I have coming. I have so many book videos planned, and of course I'll be back with the weekly vlogs as well. So thank you guys so much for sticking around and just doing life with me. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you guys in my next video very soon. Goodbye.